So we are nice. All right, so I want to send a warm welcome and greetings to you and you logged in right now. Not sure why I'm hearing back this track, but yeah. Okay, so welcome. I seem to have a bit of a lag, so I'm going to go on anyway. Welcome to another episode of The Paradigm Shift. It's wonderful to have you here again. Wait, hold on a sec, it's thrown me. Wow. One moment, ladies and gentlemen. We will sort out these issues. All right, let's see if me on the headphones. Okay. Okay. Check testing one, two. Right. Okay, hopefully I've sorted it out this time. I do thank you for your patience. Okay, so once again, I want to welcome you to the Paradigm Shift. This is the program where we dive into the stories of individuals who inspire, challenge, and transform lives. Today, we have the distinct honor of hosting a truly multifaceted individual whose journey embodies resilience, passion, and unwavering commitment to personal growth. Our guest, Kevin Wallen, hails from Kingston, Jamaica, and has worn many hats throughout his life, each contributing to the powerhouse motivation that he is today. From his early days in Jamaica, a professional wrestler, Kevin has always embraced challenges head on, using them as stepping stones to greater heights. But Kevin's impact extends far beyond the wrestling ring. As a motivational speaker and lifestyle coach, he has dedicated his life to empowering others, helping them navigate their personal journeys with purpose and determination. His brainchild, The Process, is a testament to this commitment, a transformative initiative that integrates elements of motivational speaking, lifestyle coaching, and personal accountability to foster holistic personal development. Kevin's work doesn't stop there. Through One Love Rebellion, he has championed community engagement and social reform, particularly focusing on rehabilitation programs within correctional facilities. His Diary of an Inmate project, for instance, provides incarcerated individuals with a platform to share their stories, challenging societal perceptions and highlighting the consequences of crime. Today, we'll explore this incredible journey, delving into the experiences that shaped him, the challenges he overcame, and the wisdom he now imparts through his various initiatives. We'll also discuss the importance of staying the course, changing the narrative, and navigating life's challenges with resilience and purpose. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome and bring to the stage our dynamic and inspiring, transformative Kevin Wallen to the show. Welcome, Kevin. How you doing?
I am great. Thank you. How you do?
We have no sound from you.
I'm good.
Okay,
How are you?
I got you. I'm good, thank you.
Awesome. So here we are.
We are here. And how was your weekend?
Man, my friend Kyle calls me up on Wednesday night and he says, Kev, we're doing this rowing thing at Morgan's Arbor and we are missing one person. Can you do it? And the first thing I thought was, you know what? Kijani can do it. He's still here. And then I realized that no, he's at Morgan's Arbor and we are missing one person. Can you do it? And the first thing I thought was, you know what? Kijani can do it. He's still here. And then I realized that no, he's Morgan's Arbor and we are missing one person. Can you do it? And the first thing I thought was, you know what? Kijani can do it. He's still here. And then I realized. And so I went out there and we practiced at the Ligony Club for a little bit on Thursday night. After I left the police, I went up there, and then on Saturday we met at General Foods because they were our sponsor. We met at General Foods. We boarded the bus. Took us out to the harbor in style. We got there. We set up tent and balance out ourselves. And then we did this thing that I've never done in my life. For the first time, I actually held a paddle, and it was in time of intense competition. So we had to learn really, really quickly. But it's all about timing. It's all about being a part of a team. It's all about being one with your team. It's all about being sync and understanding the instructions and everybody moving in the same direction. So in order that, it's one of the purest examples that I've ever experienced of the importance of being one and how powerful we are when we become one.
Nice,
We're
nice.
so much faster, we're so much better.
So
So
I saw that this
I
weekend that
can't
you
hear her
you
now.
you participated in the Dragon's Boat
I'm not hearing you.
racing. You not hearing me? Oh Lord. Do you know what? This
No,
coming
I
like
didn't.
you can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. There's no feedback? You're getting me
No.
straight?
No, I'm
Okay.
getting you good.
Good, 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 good. You know what? It's a little bit like a seance, isn't it? It's like we come round and like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. We're trying to connect to the other side. It's the new technical seance. Anyway, so you were on the Dragon Boat racing this weekend, that's
Yes,
right?
I was. I certainly was.
Tell
Yes.
us about that. How amazing, because it looked absolutely awesome.
Oh my goodness. I'm on this boat like on Saturday. I'm out there and I'm with these young guys and I'm saying like, guys, y'all have no idea how amazing this really is. And I'm just thoroughly, thoroughly enjoying myself. And this weekend, I guess the best way I can explain some of my experience. I was that chicken in that movie.
Mm. The movie watched. Yeah,
Yes, I was the chicken in the movie. What is it called Surfs Up, the movie.
right.
I was that chicken and I thoroughly just float all the way through everything. When they told me to go on the boat, I went on the boat. They told me to paddle, I paddled. They told me to stop, I stopped. They told me to reverse. They told me to make 5 paddles. I did 5 forward. If they told me 2 backward, I did 2 backward. But what was important is that they told you that you need to connect with the person in front of you. You have to become one with the person in front of you.
Yes.
Whatever the movements they make, you have to make those movements at those exact times. So that is your only thing, is to connect with the person in front of you.
Hmm.
Don't worry about anything else. Just connect with the person in front of you. And the person in front of them and everybody, and then we're side by side. So as you're connecting with the person in front of you, you also connect to the person beside you. So
Yes.
when you go forward, you're looking at the person in front of you. And then when you're going forward, you're looking at the person beside you, And then when you're looking at the person in front of you, so you look at the person beside you, look at the person in front of you. And each time that is what makes up your strokes.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the person beside you, and as you pull back, you look at the person in front of you. Look at the person beside you, look at the person in front of you. And that synchronization, that connecting, it's one of the purest forms, like I said, that I've ever seen of what it's like for a group to come together and
Yeah.
everybody's responsibility. You just see the importance of everything. Nobody's less than anybody
Mm-hmm.
because we're the engine of the boat. We're literally the engine of the boat, and everybody's a gear, and every gear connects. And so anything at all goes wrong with any one of us, anybody slows down, anybody goes out of rhythm. So it doesn't make sense to get fast up to 100 and only two people can get up to that speed and everybody else is coming slow.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to be in sync. So we're as strong as the weakest link. So you want to be able to pull people up, and the way you pull them up is to get them into your rhythm. And when they feel like they're tired, you get them into your breath. It's like unbelievable. And so
Wow.
that oneness can take someone from feeling like I can't go another second
Yeah.
to going for another few miles.
Wow.
Teamwork. It was absolutely incredible. Even
Mm-hmm.
now that I have done it and I'm looking back at it, I'm realizing just how powerful the experience really was from a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other thing that I had the opportunity to do is that when I got there, I laid my towel on the grass and I lay down on the grass. And then when I was laying down on the grass, I felt when my palms were just like wide and they were just like pressing down, they were just like right on top of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Every finger, every fiber, everything was like touching the earth. And it's not like I was stretching and trying to make myself uncomfortable, trying to feel and experience the earth. And it wasn't like that. It was just like everything. It was almost like there was a magnet, something just kind of pulling me to the earth. And I just laid there and in between sets. And man, it was just an incredible experience all around. And I absolutely needed it. I absolutely needed it. And it challenged my body in ways that I have not challenged my body in a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm eternally, eternally, eternally grateful for the experience. It was absolutely incredible.
Amazing. Amazing.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that with us as well. And in light of that, so then, with in taking part in something so amazing, what would you say is
Mhm.
what's on your heart right now?
Uh, just possibilities,
Mm-hmm.
and just the whole. There's such an amazing world out there. There's such an incredible world out there. On Saturday, I am sitting over there in Port Royal in this hotel, at the back of this hotel that they have transformed into like a big football entertainment sports bar kind of area where they have like big screens on either, like, I'm not talking about big screens, I'm talking about huge screens showing the football match on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just like all kinds of crowds there. Look, it's the first time I'm experiencing it. It's the first time I'm seeing it. And so what that brought to me is just like there's so much going on in Jamaica, in the world, in the universe, and we're stuck with our little problems, our little things that don't matter much in the scheme of things. And
Mm-hmm.
with the right mindset, you know, all that can be shifted, you know. Wow. Anyhow, I'm just in a really good mood. I'm in a very good space. Kijani went back to Canada, and you know, the
He's
work,
gone.
the
Kajani is your son, by the way, yes?
yes,
Yes. He's gone.
yeah,
Wow. How are you feeling?
very close to complete. And I say very close in that I feel like there's one more conversation that we need to have. There's one more moment
Mhm.
that we need to have after having gone through the revelations that we've gone through in the last couple of weeks,
Yes.
you know. Um, his and mine, our relationship is real.
Mhm.
It's very real. And I want to give him room. I want to give him room to make up his mind in terms of what it is that he wants to do and just to see the world, without seeing it through my approval, through my eyes, through my desires, my work. You know, I feel like my work is just to inspire him to do whatever it is that he wants to do. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I think he might still be at the point where he wants to do what he thinks I want him to do.
Right.
And I really just want him to do him,
Mhm.
you know, and that's all I've always really wanted for him. And so we had some conversations that made me realize that he's heard me and he's on his way to understanding.
Mhm.
And I think that for me, if I understand that and if I truly get that, then that's all I'll need. You know, just to know that he heard
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need to keep hearing it over and over and over again. I don't need to keep beating in his head. He heard it. And I just need to leave him with it now. And as he matures into becoming whatever it is that he's up to, he will understand it.
Mm.
And I think that understanding, you see, he's my purest long term understanding of just no judgment, just giving, just it's he's forgiven, he's loved, he's all of these different things, you know.
Yeah.
And though I've made my mistakes along the way, though I've overlooked things along the way, though I've known the importance of things along the way, there's still a part of me that has had to obey the rites of passage. And even though it's my son, it is not my job to stop him from going through what he needs to go through to become what he needs to become. I can't save him from his destiny. I can't save him from his journey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And his journey hasn't been like many young boys like him, excuse me, hasn't been an easy journey. And so therefore having, you as a father that is quite understanding and able to bring him to a place where he can see things for himself, even though situations have happened that may not have been in his control, but how he has responded to what's taken place. Having someone like you as a father has helped him to come to that place where he can see that he's still full in control at the same time. Tell me a little bit how you were able to get to that place with him, as a young boy, as a young man growing up. He's probably hurting, he's going through a few things. How was it for you to make that connection with him? How easy or how hard was that for you?
Kijani and I did the kind of things that forced us to be in the same space and sometimes to say nothing to each other. Sometimes just to be quiet. And then sometimes I'll talk and sometimes I'll get a word or two out of him, but he was never one to reason back and forth back in the day. He would just listen, especially when it is that, he was going through something and he didn't know how to express it or he didn't feel safe
Mhm.
expressing it. And so, you know, I don't feel like I have not gone out of my way, to do anything that would say, okay, he's a great father because this is what he does. What it is that I've tried to do all along is I've just tried to just be the best version of myself
Mhm.
and to live an honest, just like just like a positive life for myself. And then if my son is sees that and he's a part of that, then I feel like he'll be okay. So my journey has just been to become the best version of myself and to become the best guide and the best support for my son is also a part of that,
Yeah.
you know. But he has helped me along the way. He's helped me a lot in terms of just understanding, everything in other human beings and just life and just being generous and understanding, just because of our own mistakes. You look at it and one of the one of my deepest regrets is that I wasn't able to be more at Kijani's sporting events.
Mhm.
Especially while he was away in Canada, I wasn't be able to be at his wrestling events. You know, and we always had a conversation about it. And when we had a conversation about it, my thing is that I'm seeing it beyond here. I'm seeing him going through all of this
Mhm.
and then coming up against some stuff where he has to make real decisions. And he would have done that already in these situations. And so I see all of this as preparation. But as a boy going through it, he's not seeing any of this as preparation and initiation and any of that kind of stuff. He's looking over and he's seeing his teammates with their parents and just wanting that for himself. And when he told me about it, my initial response was just to kind of get him to understand, just like this is a part of the mission, and this is a part of thing that we have to go through, and this and that, and blah blah blah, and all of these different things. But what it really came down to is that Kijali, I am so sorry, guy. I remember the days when I was wrestling, and I wish my parents were there just to watch me like my friends' parents would watch them. So I totally get it, and I'm so sorry.
Mhm.
I'm so sorry. And moving forward, I'm gonna do everything in my power to do something about that because that's support that I think that it was an opportunity just to kind of listen and just to get it, to really get what it is that must have felt like and why he was just like upset and angry,
Mhm.
at times because it's not that he doesn't understand. He gets it. He gets what we have to do, but he didn't feel like we understood him when he was just having his moments. And the moments that he was having, all he wanted at those moments was just his parents around. He wanted his mom and dad around. And so we are thinking that, okay, he's away, he's doing his thing, he has the opportunity to go to school. We're going to work our butts off and we're going to make sure that he has the money, make sure that he has everything that he needs, make sure that he's set up. But all he wants to come home and hug up his dad. He wants to come home and jump into his mother's lap. He just wants his parents. He wanted his parents.
Mm.
And until this trip, I never truly understood it in a way that I could just give him, just like a honest to goodness, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
How important do you think it is for within our communities and especially within melanated communities, we tend not to have many fathers present, especially not really in the home. Some of them still do co-parent and
Hmm.
how important do you feel it is for men, fathers, to have a relationship and open conversations with their sons?
It's extremely important because the sons pick up from their dads more than we realize, or even more than I realized. You know, Kijani he has always held me in high regard.
Mm.
And so therefore, even in the moments when he was angry at me, or even in the moments when he wanted more from me, he did not know how to say it in such a way that he would not disrespect me, or he would not put pressure on me or whatever. He's like he was more trying to protect me than just kind of, wanting what he wanted. And I think he loved me so much that that maybe sometimes he let me off the hook.
As they do, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
they do,
And
because
so
they would rather have that peaceful relationship with us as well. They would rather have that loving relationship as
absolutely.
well of children, because that's really all anybody really wants, isn't it? So when they're still
Yeah.
in that purest form,
Yeah.
that is what they're desiring. Share some of the, like, any difficult situations that you had, a challenge that you had with Kijani that you overcame that you didn't think you would overcome.
I think the one that I just described, I think that was the toughest one for me.
Mm.
Was just coming to terms with the fact that no matter what I did, he always had like an ace in his back pocket. He could get angry at a moment's notice because of this one thing that he still holds me to. Or this one thing that he doesn't feel like I understand. And because he doesn't feel like I understand it, he feels judged every time I say anything around whatever that is.
What would you say are some of the some valuable lessons that you may have learned from your son?
The most valuable lesson I've learned is that time does not stand still. It doesn't stand still. And so your dreams have to be ones they have to be activated. A lot of the times we have dreams, but it's like we have dreams and it's down there. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when every step, every movement is a part of it and it has to be in alignment. And so I had all kind of ideas when he was younger as to things that I wanted to do with him and all of these different things. And there's no room to do those things anymore. Because who it is that came home to me was a boy that was one step away from stepping into his own manhood.
Mm-hmm.
And while he was here, he has had to make more than that one step. He has had to make many steps. He had to like powerfully step into it. So yeah, those times are just not available. And that's very important.
Mm. In light of that, what type of advice would you give to fathers out there who may be listening right now? Maybe they're a bit estranged from their children, especially their sons. They may not find it easy to communicate with their sons because, a lot of fathers didn't grow up with fathers. So it's a bit hard sometimes. How would you navigate a man
When
listening?
when I look back at my time and my relationship with Kij, there's a lot of things that I didn't do because I may have thought that I may didn't have enough or I wasn't enough or and then there's some things that I did, that I thought that I wasn't enough, that I didn't have enough and it wasn't enough. And I appreciate the ones that I did more, you know.
Mm.
And so if there's anything that I can say is that what I appreciate is the times, what I appreciate now are the ones that seem so simple that we didn't put a lot of value on them, but they are the ones that are proven to be the most valuable, like our time in the mountains, our time going to rivers,
Yeah.
our time going to Charlestown and spending, weeks on a time just coaching wrestling and being in the community and being with the community and just having him get up in the morning and go to the the earth with him brethren and got him farm and plant something and reap something. Yeah. So it's I'm still in the in that process of now because it's the first time in a long time, if ever, that I've had this kind of freedom, just to be.
Mm.
And so I'm using the opportunity to do exactly that. Just be and allow the stuff, the current that we've been whipping up all these years, allow it to do what it needs to do to make sure that the resources, the opportunities, whatever it is that needs to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And as a result of, going through the many things you've been through in your life and growing up your son and going through the challenges you go through, what's probably one of the reasons that you started the One Love Rebellion. First of all, tell me, where did you get the name One Love Rebellion?
Oh wow, One Love Rebellion in 2008 when Barack Obama was running for his election. Was it 2008 that he first ran or 2004? It was the first time he ran.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to visit my brethren, Professor Charles Nesson at Harvard, and he said he's going to drive over to New Hampshire because his brethren, fellow co-worker Larry Lessig,
Mm-hmm.
was running for president, and he was giving a presentation over in New Hampshire. And so we're going to this thing called the New Hampshire Rebellion. And so we got to New Hampshire, and I'm looking around, and all I'm seeing is like all these weird, different looking folks, but everybody was out. It didn't matter, who was old, young, everybody in between. Everybody was just out and everybody was participating. And they all marched and they all this thing, and they have this thing where, the New Hampshire Rebellion, and they had this thing where whoever is going to become president, they would have to get New Hampshire primary is one of the ones that they would have to win. They're very powerful, they're very organized, and they make their vote count kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the way back, I just kept on saying, man, there has to be a way where there's some kind of a movement like that, where everybody just understands that they just have to bring the best of what they can. Just bring that to the table and just continue to support that. Just and everybody is just on the same page. There's one mission, and the one mission is to make sure that whoever it is that to become president is going to always have to respect them enough to come to their little town and make sure. Because if you don't get the New Hampshire primary, you're in trouble. But anyhow, so on the way back to Boston after leaving New Hampshire, I kept on talking to my brethren. And then by the time we got back to his house, we sat at his dining table. And it's amazing. At that dining table that night is the night that something was born that ended up in that legalization or that whatever of marijuana for 2 ounces. It started at that table when I got back that night.
Wow.
Because on that night, Professor, we started to have the conversation and say, okay, so how are we going to do this thing and what can we do and all that kind of stuff. And he's very big on marijuana legalization. He's a guy that every year in Boston Square, there's a friend of his that gets arrested for smoking weed for many years now, before weed was anything close to being legal anywhere. And so these guys have been weed advocates for years. And as a professor, always smokes weed, never denies smoking weed, just always that kind of guy.
Mhm.
So we started to have the conversation. And that conversation led to me making contact with Donisha. And then when I came back to Jamaica, I ended up speaking at an event that they were having in Halfway Tree. Rastafari was having an event when I'm trying to remember exactly what the movement was about. But I went there that day and I spoke to them and I said, if it is that we're really serious, I think we should push the idea and make sure that Bob Marley becomes a national hero. Because once there's a true Rastafari, a brethren like that, I think he will change a lot of things. Just having him in there, Rastafari will be looked upon differently. And anyways, it was one of those conversations. But anyhow, all of that led to connection with Mark Golden. Mark Golden and Charlie linked up, and then they started to bang heads about how they were gonna do this thing, and they moved around and they got the Rastafari people involved. They got the farmers involved. They got everybody involved. They had meetings everywhere. But anyways, that's a whole nother story. That started at that table. But what else started at that table is that when I came back to Jamaica, by the time I landed, I knew it was going to be the One Love Rebellion.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So One Love Rebellion is a movement of a dedicated one who is wanting to see change out in our communities.
Be the change you wish to see. That's what we're challenging people to do, is that whatever your skill, whatever makes you great, whatever makes you think that you have something to give to the world, just be the change you wish to see. So whatever is wrong, as long as you can see it, there's a great chance that the reason why you're seeing it and you're critiquing it is because you got some skills and you got some abilities to bring change to that. So you don't have to try to change anything. But the things that irk you, of course, go at it. It's not everything that's going to irk you, but the ones that really do, rather than complain, do something about it. That's your calling. The fact that it bothers you so much, the fact that it's so annoying to you, you have to figure out a way how to conquer it, but without bringing all kind of stuff to other people in the process. You have to figure out a way how to conquer it that brings unity, that brings all that things with it. So it can't just be that you're going to kill it because you want to feel better, but everybody else feels worse because of how you've gone about doing it. You have to figure it out how to get what you want while making sure the collective still have balance. It's not good enough for you to just go get what you want.
Absolutely.
You have to be responsible.
And you have decades of experience in facilitating transformative workshops and retreats.
Yes.
And this is something that you actually specialize in terms of fostering personal development among youths and also arranging for, organizational alignment. Tell us a little bit about some of the courses that you run.
Well, I run two main courses. The first one is called the Paradigm Shift. And so the Paradigm Shift is pretty much a half a day, can be a 1 day, depending on what it is that the room is looking for. But it's really just an opportunity for us to take a closer look at ourselves as individuals and then see how it is that we're showing up in the collective. And I think just being able to do those two things are two really cool tools, two pieces of tools that we can have in our toolbox that will get us on just like a better view as to why our lives look the way that they do. And if it is that we can understand why our lives look the way that they do, and which is always based on how it is that we've been showing up, and if we can make the necessary adjustments, we can shift how it is that our lives look moving forward. But we have to first do that work.
Very true. And your work is doing really well because you're going to many different places, schools, organizations. You've been called in quite often to bring about this change and change this narrative. So, you know, if you're listening right now, you just tuned in, I just want to welcome you to the show, The Paradigm Shift. We have our host, our guest, Kevin Wallen, myself, Trisha O'Neill, The Elevator. We're here every Monday. And we're just bringing about a conversation where we can help bring about a change within our communities, but first of all, within ourselves. As Kevin is saying, you know, you have to be the change that you want to see, you know, whatever it is that is bugging you. If you have any comments or you have any questions, feel free to use the phone lines, which is there, 1876-228-6513, or you can drop your comments in the chat box there if you're logged in on the YouTube. We welcome any questions or comments. So we're here with Kevin, and we're, you know, he's sharing with us about the work that he does and has been doing and is available as well to be a part of your organization to help bring a change and help bring about, you know, strengthening relationships within companies, within organizations. Because in fact, Kevin, tell us a little bit how important it is, you know, say for instance you have a school and the children are playing up, but the teachers are the ones that kind of not talk to us about that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
trying to...
I think a lot of the times what happens is that in a school setting or in any organization, if it is that there's a problem with the organization or how the organization's output is looking, the best place for you to look is in the staff room. Because once you take a look in the staff room, you're going to realize that as long as the staff room is out of sync and there's no vision for them to buy into, and so everybody's just kind of coming to work, it's all about the dollar, it's all about just kind of doing the 9 to 5, getting it done and getting out the door, that kind of thing. There's no real hook, there's nothing that pulls them to it. Then you're really not going to get the kind of, you know, energy, the kind of pull that you want out of your group. So what it is that the paradigm shift, for example, does is that it gives everybody in that space an opportunity to see how it is that they fit within the scope of what it is that we're trying to do.
Mhm.
So the organization has a mission of doing all of these different things. Here is how it is that you come in. Here's the role that you play. And here are the opportunities that are available to you if you play your role in a way that almost like we can't do without you. You become a part of what it is that we are. So if it is that you make yourself replaceable, which means you're not going the extra mile, you're not doing anything beyond. So therefore you become replaceable. So anybody can be interchanged with someone that just shows up and does whatever. But if it is, and so it's very important all the way through, because so I, as the owner of the organization or the manager of the company, I have to have a vision of what it is that I want, or the CEO, I must have a vision as to what it is that I want for this company. And so when it is that I have the vision, because I'm the visionary, I'm the guy that's in I'm in the clouds. I'm dreaming up all these lofty ideas, but at the same time, I also have the resources that can support them. But what it is that I now need is I need someone that I can have confidence in, that when I come up with my so-called, you know, dream ideas, I must be able to sit with this person and say, okay, fine, this is what it is that this is my dream.
Mhm.
And you're going to go away. And when you come back to me and you say, okay, fine, here's how we're going to get it done. So I don't have to know how to get it done. I just have to have the dream, and I'm going to trust you. So that's the CEO and that's the manager. I'm going to trust you to figure out how to make this work. How many employees we're going to need? What kind of, you know, infrastructure are we going to need? Do we need offices? Do we need this? Do we need that? You're going to take care of all of that kind of stuff. And so what it is that I've now done is I've gotten you to buy into my vision in such a way that you can put action to it. And not only can you now put action to it, but you now have to figure out how to inspire everybody and make sure everybody understands the role that they need to play so that you can be successful. And by extension, the company be successful. So every person has a role to play. So if you're showing up at work every day and you're going through some stuff and it makes you drop the ball, I can cuss you as much as I want. but that's probably just going to add to your stuff. And some people say, well, it's not my job to baby anybody. You work 9 hours, you come and you do your 8 hours or your 9 hours, and I don't care what's going on with you personally. But I have to care, because in the scheme of things, whenever it is that you don't give me 100%, it's not the person beside you, it's not just any individual in the store. It actually trickles all the way to me. So what it is that I want to ensure is that all the way up and all the way down, everybody feels a part of the process. So when you're at your optimum, you experience the bonuses, you experience the get-togethers, you experience the luncheons, whatever it is that the company does to make sure that you are still balanced. And whenever it is that things are not going because we're not pulling up our socks, you will see that certain things can't happen because we're just not at that space.
Mhm.
So I think when you get people to buy into the vision and they can see how it is that they can make it. So you start out sweeping the floor and you're making this salary. So you can stay there, you can stay at that space and ball for a raise at that space, or you can outgrow that space and step up into a different peer category. What is that going to take? What does that look like? It may be that you can get all of that done within the space by just working harder and all that kind of stuff. But it may also mean that you need to go to night school. You need to take some classes and bolster up your thing, and you need to take time and gather some skills here and there. So whatever it is that you need to do, you have to take a look at what it is. What's my path to upward mobility?
Mhm.
And so if it is that I, the owner or the whatever of the company, can make you imagine yourself moving up through this company, then you're going to come through the gate with the mindset of more than just wanting to make a dollar, but you're going to want to be a part of the organization to grow it to the point where you can get what you want out of it.
Love that. And that's some of the work that you do within the facilities. We also have the process that
Yes.
takes place up in the Blue Mountains. Beautiful place. I've experienced it myself. And we're having the next one again on the 29th of June.
June
Is that right?
29th. So that's coming up. Yes.
That's coming up. So give us a snippet and insight of what we could look forward to. Anyone listening right now who may want to take part in the process, what can they, without giving them too much details, what can they be in store for and be excited about?
You know, if it is that you truly are looking for an opportunity to get deeper understanding, to get the clarity that you need so that your life can not just unfold, but you can actually, be an active participant in it. A lot of the things that right now is like we look at it after it happens and we don't get a chance to even see it before. We don't get a chance to see it before it happens. Sometimes we do, but we don't want to see it, so we look past it. And we don't get a chance to really see it as we're going through it. It's after it passes that we're looking back at it. So a lot of us, we haven't had, when we talk about, oh, I really enjoyed that. No, it's after you got home and after you're away from it and you really look at it, it's like, oh my God, that was really cool. But my face was screwed up the whole time. I was having, these thoughts of, oh my God, look how far we had to walk to get to this place. And I just did not enjoy the moments in the moment. But now that I'm away from it, it's just like, oh my goodness, that was amazing. So, where was I going with that? Anyway,
Only you know what you were sharing with us, what to look forward to, what to be excited
yeah.
about for the process.
So the idea is just it's an opportunity for you to take a look at yourself, take a look at how your life became what it is that it has become, and make the necessary adjustments. There's no two ways about it. You are what you are and where you are because of what's gone into your mind. And you can change what you are and change where you are by changing what goes into your mind. So sometimes really what you need is just a shift, a different perspective. And so the beautiful thing about doing this workshop in the mountains is that you get the opportunity to be away, from everything, to just disconnect just for a moment from all the things that you think are that important, and just to take 3 days and take a closer look at you. Take a closer look at how it is that you came through. A lot of us, we come through our lives and we don't even realize that there were kids that used to influence us when we were children, that we thought that they knew everything. We thought that they were so smart. And then now that we take a look at it, they were just stupid. And we were even more stupid for following their stupid ideas. But nonetheless, a lot of us are still shaped by those things from those days.
Mm-hmm.
Back in those days, we used to rib each other a lot. So someone tell us, you try to run a race and you lose the race, and everybody make fun of you and say you're slow like you can't run, you can't run. You might as well don't run again, my youth. And before long, you realize that you're 30, 40 years old and you've never really tried to run again because of that moment. You go to school and someone tell us say your head tough and you can't do maths. You're not a maths brain. And you take that on yourself from you're a youngster.
Yeah.
And all of these different things that we take onto ourselves, it helps to kind of shape who it is that we are. So the process just gives you an opportunity to really take a look at all of that, to take a look at the religion that you practice. When was the first time you came in contact with it? Who taught it to you? How old were you? What was the thing that got you? How do you know that your religion is the best one? Because it's the one that they got you with when you were younger. And so no matter, even if you switch to other things, you find that there's a part of you that is still pulled to that thing that you were inculcated with. And so there's just it's just worth the opportunity to take a closer look, to peel back the layers of the onion, just to take a closer look at how it is that you became who you are. Your mom and dad, what did they really know? Your siblings, what did they know? What did they teach you? What did they tell you that was okay and what was not okay? What are the things that happened to you as a child that you buried so deep because you don't want anyone else to ever know about it? And what if I told you that those things are sometimes so simple that they have really no consequence or whatever, but because of when it happened and the magnitude of what it is that you took on, your little beanie brain at that stage, and how bad you think you were and how terrible you think you were, and you hit that thing so deep. So a lot of people are struggling with the fact that they broke something and their mom was looking for it and they thought their mom was going to kill them, so they buried it in the backyard, and they still have visions of this fear and this thing that that was so bad, but they still have not been able to just kind of realize or come to the realization that, my God, it was not that bad. It was a stupid drug. But they're still, your child still holds on to it.
Yes, your
That's why
inner
it's still
child.
carried on. Yeah, and so it for a lot of people is a lot of different things. So some people say, well, I don't have any childhood trauma or any of these kind of issues. We all do. But it's not gonna look like, oh, I used to get beaten every night, and it's not gonna look like that for everybody. For some people, it might be that your mom, gave you and your sister both a lollipop, your sister dropped hers, and your mom took yours and gave it to your sister. And you've hated your sister ever since, and you just don't know why, but she just thinks she's this, and she always gets everything, and she's this and she's that, but it started with the lollipop. And because you burn it in your brain that your sister is always getting this and you're always acting bratty and all that kind of stuff. And so your sister always rises to the top, and yes, she gets everything. But it's not usually because your parents want to give her everything just to spite you. It's because sometimes your behavior towards your sister is observed more than you know. There's all kind of different things.
Yeah.
So people are traumatized in all kind of different ways. The workshop is an opportunity for you to take a look at how it is that you came through. If it is that you think that your greatest hurt is with someone in your present life, there's a great chance that you're not seeing your greatest hurt. Because usually what happens when it comes to the childhood trauma stuff, and I don't want people to have to wait till they come to a workshop to understand this dynamic, because when you understand it and you have true clarity around it, I believe that you can heal and reheal and reheal yourself. It's not that you're not going to get into stuff, but you can keep on rehealing yourself if you have the tools. So let me explain it to you as best I can this way. When you come through on this planet, there's two people that have authority over you, and that's the two people whose DNA you carry, your mom and your dad. Anybody else that gets authority over you, it's not the same authority. It's not authentic. I'm not going to willingly give that authority to nobody else.
Mm.
My mom and my dad, they have that. When it is that I'm coming through with my mom and my dad, because of the levels in which I see them, everything that they do matters. So a lot of the times we come through and our hearts are battered and bruised because of what it is that we have to do to remain in love and in like and in appreciation of our parents, because of what they have to do in their minds to shape us the way that they have to shape us. Sometimes it's disappointing. You do something at school, and then mom comes to school and you tell her, don't tell your dad because this is gonna happen. And she promised you that she's not gonna tell dad, but as soon as she get home, she tell dad. And it's not like she's doing a bad thing. You know what I mean? Because they're parents and they have to share this. But in your view, your trust was broken because your mom promised you.
Yeah.
And
Happened
then the first
guilty.
time this thing happened to you and that thing happened to you. And so all of these different things, and we just keep on breaking trust and breaking trust and breaking trust. And there's
Mm.
a whole lot of that. So you get to a certain point in your life where you start to behave a certain kind of way because you feel justified in doing so because of how many times people have broken your trust. But it really started with your parents. So once you get to a certain level where you start to do all of these things because of what your parents so-called did to you, what you've now done, if you now start to create this thing, you start to create this, for lack of a better term, this hellhole that you're gonna have to deal with at some point.
Mm.
All the things that you're now justifying. I can do this because this happened to me. I can do this because this person hurt me. I can do this because I came through life like this. All of these things is just a mountain that you're piling up, and you don't realize that the check that you're thinking that it's no good. So what now happens is that you come to the workshop, you come to a workshop like the process, and you decide you're going to take a look at what your deepest hurts are. And then you're going to come bucking up right up into your parents, mom and dad. No matter how beautiful you think the relationship was with them, whatever your default is in your adult life, I guarantee you, mom and dad, everybody else that comes in and does something similar is just really to trigger you and to remind you that you still have work to do with mom and dad. But it's never them. So now, when you do the work, the real work that needs to be done with mom and dad, and you look at everything from the lollipop to the point where she tell you that she's gonna come back and she never did, and the point where you felt abandoned, the fact you go through all of that. And when you clean up mom and you're done, and you get angry at the things that happen when you're a child, you do whatever and you're loving it, you go through all the process, you're clean with mom, and you realize that, all right, I got a clear dad. And whether he was in your life or not in your life, it doesn't matter. You go through the process and you realize that boom, 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 and you clear your dad. He's a human being, him not much sense, or whatever it is that you want to put on it. But you get to a point where you clear your dad and you realize that it's not his fault why he is the way that he is. And I can't be responsible for how he is. And therefore, I can't attach my behavior to his behavior, knowing that I disagree with it. How can I now do the same thing and whatever? So you figure out how to balance all of that and you realize that, you know what? Oh my goodness, I don't really have an issue with my dad. And you release your dad. When you do that, what you're now left with in the middle of all of that is you. Because if it wasn't mom, why you did the things you did, and if it wasn't dad, why you did the things you did, then it was you and your ego. And so now you got to clean those things up. So all of those things that you were justified in doing because your mom left when you were 5, and because this happened to you, and because that your 11-year-old son, I mean your 11-year-old
Yes.
cousin molested you when you were 10, whatever it is, everything that you have done in between there's some real healing that needs to happen. But when the real healing happens, the part of the story that a lot of people don't do, and a real reason why a lot of people don't heal, is because when they get the healing for what it is that had happened to them, they now still have to go back and deal with the things that they were justified or they felt justified in doing before they got the healing. It's still your work. It's still your responsibility, even though you felt justified, even though you were going through the hurt, even though it was raw. Once you get your healing, you have to allow yourself to get back into it and clean up the mess that you created when you were broken. That's
Yeah.
what's going to heal the world. You can't just take your healing and go on and whoever it is that's in your wake, them just have to just take that because I saw it go. No, you have to go back. You have to go back. You have to utilize the opportunity to go back and you have to really heal. You don't get away with it, no matter how bad whatever it is that happens to you, no matter how you paint it, whatever it is that it comes down to the work, you have to clean up your mess. You have to clean up after yourself. And the process gives you an opportunity to get that process started.
Nice.
Because it's a lifelong journey, if you will.
It definitely is. The healing process isn't an overnight thing. You know, we didn't get there overnight. We didn't go through the trauma overnight. So to walk on that journey, like 1,000 steps, it starts with one.
That's correct.
You know, so it's beautiful to hear you talk about the process and talk about the effects that it can have on us, especially if you're actually wanting the change. If you know within yourself that something's not right, I need to find out what's going on. I need to find my purpose. I don't know what my purpose is or whatever. How would you navigate that with somebody who's in that place?
Well, I think when you take a look at how it is that you came through, it's very important. Because a lot of people, where it is that the real questioning begins is when you start to feel stuck. You know, you're going through and it just feels like you keep on coming to the same spot. You just feel stuck. And so that stuck usually comes out of a fear that was instilled in you in some kind of a way. And every time you get close to breaking that barrier and getting into that zone that you consider to be success, there's like an automatic default that kicks in. And that default is usually sitting somewhere at a decision that you made when you were a child, an agreement that you made, something that you made when you were a youngster. And so the truth of the matter is, if it is that you're unable or you're not able to go back and dig up those things, let me give you a real life example of what that would look like. A lot of people have money issues. And so you look and say, well, you know, why would this person, you know, be like this? You start to look at it beyond the money and start to just look at how it is that they show up. And you start to look and get a deeper understanding of a lot of times people's relationship with money comes from how it is that they watch their parents handle money.
Very true.
My mom came to visit in 1975. I was 5 years old. She gave my brothers and I all money because it was Christmas time and there was a fair going on in the community. And so she gave us all money. And I took my money and I was 5 years old. My brother was 7. They were 6 and 7. And I gave my money to my 7-year-old brother. And the expectation was that he was going to get me whatever I need. And he was also going to take care of me. And that stayed with me for many years. Into adulthood, into grown man. It wasn't at the same level. But
what happened when you gave him the money?
When I gave him my money to take care of me, something happened then in my memory that day is that if I would give him my stuff, I put my stuff in his hands, then he would take care of me. And so therefore, whatever it is that I got, even as a kid, when I got toys, I just ran and I gave them to him. If I got $10, I gave him 5, whatever. And for many years, even as I was in university, when I got my scholarship money or whatever the case is, I found out if he was good. And I just always felt no issues. I buy equipment, whatever kind of stuff. I felt no issues, just kind of.
And did your brother honor that at any time? Did he ever see the trust and
No,
the
we
respect
saw
you
it
had?
different. We saw it differently. I think he saw it as me being naive. He saw it as me being naive, because I always figured that as long as I'm contributing, like for example, he used to have this party, and every time I would go to the party, I would watch the guys, and the guys at the gate would rob him blind. So for the entire night, he might get, let's say, $300 off the gate. And so then I started to go and I said, you know what? Let me take a look at what's going on at the gate. Let me handle the gate. All of a sudden, we're making all $1,400, $1,500, $1,800 at the gate. That kind of vibe. So my thing is, during that time, I'm always looking at, okay, so all right, I'm gonna do a good thing. I'm gonna help out. I'm gonna help out. But along the way, it was never looked upon the way that I thought that it was being looked upon. So we had both different visions of it. And so that understanding, when the understanding hit me that we weren't on the same page, and that I was more of just like a helper. So in my view, I'm a part of this thing, and we're partners, and we're doing what. But anyhow, so for a very long time, I kind of had one vision in mind as to why I came back to Jamaica. I came back to Jamaica to build an empire, a family empire, or to be a part of that and to create that. And so how it is that I wanted to create it is this guy. Make a difference, do different things, figure out how it is that to bring people to support what it is that we do. Because the professors at Harvard, they always used to say to me, they said, Kevin, if it is that you do what you do and you do it so well, imagine if people had a way to support you. Because a lot of the times people want to support us, but they don't have a way of supporting us. What can they buy? What can they get into? How can they support you? Do you have a restaurant that you can get some people, them can come eat food? Do you have something that they can come and buy? Do you have something that they can rent? Like, how can people support you in your mission?
Yes.
Because what it is that we do is so unique. We go downtown, we talk to the community, we make a difference, we're going through, we're doing whatever it is that we're doing. How do people support that? How can people support us?
And there are many ways. Tell us one of the ways that they can actually support it.
So one of the ways that they can actually support it is they can actually get one of our t-shirts, One Love Rebellion t-shirt. You can definitely do the what do you call that thing there?
What's that?
PayPal.
Yeah.
That not PayPal. That is it PayPal?
Cash App.
Cash App.
Cash App or PayPal. Here's some of the t-shirts. You can see it. One Love Rebellion in pink.
Yep.
Yeah. We have many different colors, right? I don't know how many colors you have. We have black and blue.
There's a bunch of different colors.
You see it?
You have to hold it back a little bit. It's your thing. Yeah, there you go. Awesome.
So you can get yourself a One Love Rebellion t-shirt. You can call the number on the screen, or you can contact Kevin where? Tell them where we can contact you to get a One Love Rebellion
You can find me on Instagram, Kevin Wallen. You can find me on TikTok, Kevin Wallen again, Facebook Kevin Wallen, and just DM me. And then there's a way that you can support the mission. Just come out and support the mission. And so right now we're in the process of moving forward with the real launching of what it is that we're up to. And it seems like it's a great time to do it.
Mhm.
So just look out for that. In the coming weeks, we'll tell you a little bit more about that. But it's all about how it is that you can be the difference right where you are, just by cleaning up your own space, by cleaning up your own house, by cleaning up how it is that you relate to the ones that are closest to you. That
Mm.
kind of vibration. So that's where we're starting. We're starting with that. We're starting with parents that's recognizing that that we have to figure out better ways to relate to our children, and that the whole heap of beating and bad up and insulting,
It's not
those things just
necessary.
kind of scar them, and they spend a lifetime trying to put those things down. So just be mindful of what those kind of things do. And yeah, so I think the more we just start doing the small stuff, the little things, we don't have to go out there and march for no whole heap of big things. If it is that we begin in our homes, just to be more loving and kind and gentle to those that we share space with, I
Mhm.
believe that's a great place to start.
And just, in light of everything that you said, if we could just take a moment now and kind of like think about some of the things that have been said, and look at your own households and with yourself, and how, if you reflect for a minute, how you can actually use some of the tools that Kevin shared here tonight regarding the process, how you can use that even from now to help you navigate through your healing journey. Or maybe you've never heard of the healing journey, you've never thought about I need healing or anything, but something tonight that you've heard has triggered something in you to say, you know what, actually, yeah, I remember my mom or my dad did do something, and I didn't realize that that is actually what may be affecting me. If that is the case, then you can use some of the tools, get a pen, get a pad, write out what it is you're actually feeling, and then ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? And if you give yourself a moment, and Kevin will probably even agree with me this evening, that you give yourself a moment to listen, to just sit with self and listen, things will start to come up. And the key of it is to not run from it, because a lot of the time things come up and oh no, we don't want to think about that right now. I left that behind, because things will come up that you forgot about, and it might be a bit scary. It might make you cry. It might make you want to scream and shout. Whatever it is, as I myself have gone through and going through a healing journey still as well, but I've had times where I've had to cry it out. I've had to scream it out. I've even had to cuss it out. I ain't gonna lie, I've had to cuss it out certain times, just in my room or in the park or somewhere, and just let it all out, because now I'm recognizing that it's there. That's where it happened. And I wasn't able to express how I felt at that time. Maybe my mom was gonna beat me, or someone was gonna reject me, so I didn't say anything. And I just kept it to myself, and I thought I'll just get over it. But we don't get over it. It sits within the psyche. It
Mm-hmm.
sits deep within. And then it starts to play out in different situations. And
Yep.
certain things trigger you, and you don't know why it's triggering you. It's because that thing that you buried so far deep down in the back of behind God is
Mm-hmm.
now resurfacing. And
Mm.
that's the time we actually need to sit with the mirror and look at self and work through the process of healing.
Indeed. Yeah, it's that's really what it is. It's a personal journey, man. It's a personal journey. There's all these steps that nobody can take for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is that I can reiterate something tonight, is the importance of living as clean as possible, because whatever mess you make, you are the one that's gonna have to clean it up. Nobody else can clean it up for you. You are the one that's gonna have to clean it up. And the only way that you have peace is if you clean up your mess. If you don't clean up your mess, you can try to think about it and try not to think about and avoid it and blame other people. And there's all of these different things that you can try to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you are the only one that can clean up your mess. So it's very
Absolutely.
important that we go through, we take a look at how it is that we came through onto this planet. And then we have to do that work of cleaning up after ourselves. Because there's two things that are very important that we do: clean up after yourself and add value wherever you go.
Ashe. And on that note, I'm just going to take a quick little musical break just to give people time to just reflect on some of the things you've just said right there. And then we're going to come back with a few closing words. So, you know, if you got your pen, you got your pad, this is a time where you can just reflect or just take time out to hear this song that I'm dedicating to you.
Hands in the air.
Oops.
If that's you, baby, this song is to let you know that someone like me really cares. I care when you're sad and feeling down. When you need to talk to someone and there's no one around. If you're on,
It's playing in my head. You didn't hear it? I wonder if anyone else heard it. If you didn't hear it, it's not a problem. We'll continue on, because I'm hearing it loud and clear in my headphones. So, all right.
Yeah, I'm
So
not hearing it. Okay.
you're not hearing it. We'll scrap that, because if you're not hearing it, then maybe the listeners are not hearing it as well. So we'll do that next time. Not a problem. I want to thank you out there right now at home, wherever you are, tuning in. If you've been with us from the beginning, thank you. If you just joined, then welcome again. This is the Paradigm Shift, and this is Kevin Wallen. He's a motivational speaker, transformational workshop healer guru, and he actually does have an amazing way of helping you to change the narrative in your mind, in your life, and help you to help yourself become the best version of yourself. You know, so if you're interested and wanted to know more about the process, the next one is on June the 29th. It's a 3-day retreat up in the beautiful Blue Mountains of Jamaica. If you haven't been to Jamaica, this is an excuse to come to Jamaica. And if you're in Jamaica and you've never been in the Blue Mountains, then this is an excuse to go there. And even if you have been to the Blue Mountains, this is another reason to go there again. Go there again and again, because I tell you, that place has such a healing vibe in it alone, much less when you partake in this process. You will be blown away. You will see yourself like you've never seen yourself before. And hopefully when you do see that self, you will begin to fall in love with yourself all over again, because you'll see how beautiful you really are. And that person that you've been fighting with is just the person you became to cope. It's not the real you.
Couldn't have said it any better.
So with that said, Kevin, do you have any other last closing thoughts that you'd like to share with the listeners?
Yeah, I want to share with you that you're good, that you're okay right now, that everything that has gone on in your life has brought you here, and that everything that is going on now is taking you there. And if it is that you are mindful of the things that you've been through, take a look at the things that have served you, the things that have not served you, and recognize that in this moment, you get to make a decision moving forward. You can't do anything about the things that have been done, but how it is that you heal from them, how it is that you bounce back from them is extremely important. When it is that you want to really make a shift, you want to make a difference, you have to consider those who come after us, not just your own children, not just those who live in your household, but you have to become an example. If it is that you've been through times in your life and now that you've gotten a break and now that life has become better for you, you are now subjecting other people to what it is that you've been through, that kind of karma there, you cannot escape it. So you have to be very mindful of how it is that you come through and how it is that you're showing up. Because the only reason why your life look the way that it does is because of how you're showing up. It's not because of what anybody else has done or doing. It's not because of the world and all of these different things. The more you clean up yourself, the more you pave the way for what it is that you truly want and you truly desire. But if it is that you are knowingly going in places that you know you're not supposed to go, feeling like you can't justify it, but you come back and you call upon whatever you call upon, and you get a cleansing and you're cleared because you've called it in, and go back and do the same thing again tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. So, anyways, at the end of the day, it is up to you. A huge chunk of it is up to you. There are aspects of your life that you have been unable to unlock because you're not ready. The universe cannot give you what it is that you truly desire in this moment because it is your readiness, it is your preparedness that truly unlocks it.
Mm.
You may see samples of it, you may see glimpses of it, but your readiness, your preparedness, your integrity, when you get to that space, the door have to open. So continue to do the work, continue to be at it, continue to become, because it is by becoming that we are unveiled. And so that is what them say. And that our journey upon this planet is to self-actualize. So let's get as much as we can out of it. And don't leave any aspect of yourself out of it. Get as much as you can out of your body. Get as much as you can out of your mind. Delve into your spirituality. Understand yourself as how it is that you connect to this planet and everything that you encounter on this planet. You owe it to yourself to do that. One
Absolutely.
love. Mhm.
Absolutely. I want to do something before we go. I want you to hear something that maybe you've never heard before, but I'm going to close out the show with it. Hopefully you can hear it. Kevin, you tell me if you can hear it as well. I want to thank you for joining us. Hopefully you'll be with us again, same time, same place. We may have a slight change to the time schedule, but we will keep you posted. So make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, and make sure you press that bell so you get all the notifications as well coming forward. Remember, you can also follow us on Instagram. We have Kevin Wallen. You've changed it now, isn't it? Kevin Wallen on Instagram. You also have myself, Infinite Energy Lifestyle, on Instagram. And we're on TikTok as well with Kevin Wallen, Sayway on the TikTok. And I'm Trisha Elevator, as you see on the screen, on TikTok as well. So make sure you follow us and, share. Share is caring. All right. We'll be back next time. Kevin, one love, much love. Remember, we don't hate, we elevate, for love is the highest frequency. I'm Trisha O'Neill, and he's
the One Love Rebellion. Kevin Wallen, the One Love Rebel. Blessings. It was good. Good to be here.
From BetterHelp. In a recent survey, 75% of Brits said they feel anxious or on edge, and many avoid discussing mental health for fear
I
of
can
judgment.
hear it. Is that what you want to play?
Can you hear me?
Silent,
Wait, I just want to play this.
And that affects everyone.
But I've got
BetterHelp has over 10
playing.
years of experience matching people with the right therapist.
I don't know
because
why.
we're all better with help. Visit betterhelp.com/listen up for 10% off your
I don't
first
actually know where that is
That's
playing, but that's not what I wanted to
betterhelp.com
play.
/listen up.
Okay.
My dreams are worthless. My plans
Here we
are
go.
lost.
Can you hear this?
My goals are impossible. All are of no value unless
Can you hear
followed
it?
by action. I will act now. Never has there been a map, however carefully executed to detail and scale, which has carried its owner over 1 inch of ground. Never has there been a parchment of law, however fair, which prevented one crime. Never has there been a scroll, even such as the one you hold, which earned so much as a penny or produced a single word of acclamation. Action alone is the tender, which ignites the map, the parchment, the scroll, my dreams, my plans, and my goals into a living force. Action is the food and the drink which will nourish my success. I will act now. My procrastination, which has held me back, was born of fear, and now I recognize the secret mind from the depths of all courageous hearts. Now I know that to conquer fear, I must always act, without hesitation, and the flutters of my heart will vanish. Now I know that action reduces the line of terror to an act of equanimity. I will act now. Henceforth I will remember the lessons of the firefly who gives off the light when it is in its wings. Only when it is in action I will become a firefly, and even in the day my glow will be seen in spite of the sun. Let others be as butterflies who preen their wings and yet depend on the charity of a flower for life. I will be as the firefly, and my light will brighten the world. I will act now. I will not avoid the task of today and change them for tomorrow, for I know that tomorrow never comes. Let me act now, even though my actions may not bring me happiness nor success, for it is better to act and to fail than not to act and to flounder. Happiness, in truth, may not be the fruit plucked by my actions, yet without action, all fruits will die on the vine. I will act now. I will act now, I will act now, I will act now. Henceforth, I will repeat these words again and again and again, each hour, each day, every day, until these words become as much a habit as my breathing, and the actions which follow become as instinctive as the blinking of my eyelids. With these words, I can condition my mind to perform an act necessary for success. With these words, I can condition my mind to meet every challenge which the failures avoid. I will act now. I will repeat these words again and again and again. When I awake, I will say them. When I leap from my cot, while the failures sleep, yet another hour. I will act now. When I enter the marketplace, I will say them and immediately confront my first prospect while the failures ponder yet the possibility of rebuff. I will act now. When I face a closed door, I will say them and knock while the failure waits up fear and trepidation. I will act now. When I face temptation, I will say them and immediately act to remove myself from evil. I will act now. When I'm tempted to quit, I will begin again tomorrow and say them and immediately act to consummate another sale. I will act now. Only my actions determines my value in the marketplace. And to multiply my value, I must multiply my action.
Wow.
Let me end this stream. It's not ending. Like you want to stay on.
Okay, leave studio.
He doesn't want to end. He wants us to stay on. Thank you once again, people. Bye for now.